Hey everyone, what I'm going to discuss with you today is how your thoughts create your reality. And for those of you who haven't met me yet, I'm Natasha Williams from Quantum Change, and I'm a life transformation specialist and personal development coach. And today's topic is actually, to me, the foundation of everything else that underlies everything in your life. So whether you are struggling with relationships, with your health, with finance, it's all to do with the thoughts that you have around it. Now, just to give you an idea, I don't know who actually measured, but we have on average about 60,000 thoughts that run through our brains every single day. And of those 60,000 thoughts, there are about 3 or 4 topics that they revolve around. So whether it's financial, relationship, or health problems, you will have the same recurring dialogue that is happening. Now, if you suddenly were to heal that aspect of your life, let's say it's financial or health, suddenly your brain would go quieter because that entire dialogue that was attached of your 20,000 thoughts that was attached to that particular issue is now no longer there. And often when people say, you should meditate and heal yourself through relaxation, and that it's impossible to switch off your mind, because your mind is running a dialogue, that's its job. The process of a mind is to be having thoughts all the time. So if they are on a recurring basis situation, like a record that's just playing in the background over and over and over again, then those are thoughts that are holding you hostage. When you clear those thoughts, you allow opportunity, you allow a space, you allow a void for new thoughts and new ideas to enter your mind. Because currently your mind is crowded. And a lot of anxiety and overwhelm and stress comes as a result of the same crowded thoughts that are coming in and in and in into your brain, and you don't know how to process them. So in fact, every enlightened person out there will tell you that when you take charge of your mind, everything else will follow. Now, there's a psychiatrist, Dr. David Hawkins, who was quite a well-respected psychiatrist. He's passed on now. But he wrote a book called Power versus Force. And in Power versus Force, he discusses the different consciousness levels. I'm not going to go into detail about the specific book at the moment, but what I do want to discuss with you is that your thoughts hold a certain vibration. If you have negative thoughts about your life situation, about how things are happening, immediately your body's going to feel heavy, it's going to feel drained, and you're going to have less energy. Likewise, we are also magnetic beings. So if you are in an environment where everything is negative, draining, not much happiness going on, it's going to physically drain your energy and it's going to make you feel heavy and tired. And the best solution for that is not to try and fix the other people's to get out of that environment. If it's your own negativity, then it's about looking and seeing what is out there that I can lift that energy. Now, what a lot of people try and do is they go on these positive affirmation route, or just think about good things, or we'll watch hypnotherapy, and I'll tell you why it doesn't work. Because your brain is playing out a story because it hasn't finished it yet. So something has happened that has caused you to have a gripe. Whether it's something in childhood that's now accumulated, whether it's someone that stopped you in traffic, you've got a gripe about it. And your brain is trying to replay it over and over again to remind you that there's something that's going on that hasn't been fixed or healed. If you were to go and heal that thing and close it and finish it off, you have allowed your brain to say, okay, it's finished. It's almost like when you wake up in the morning and there's a song playing in your head that's kind of half finished. And then it just plays in your head for the rest of the day because it was never finished. Your brain always wants to finish a task. So instead of trying to look for the positive and the good and the fun, look at the negative and actually go into it and say, okay, what is this trying to tell me? What exactly is this gripe about? And I can give you just a little process that you could do right now. If you said, okay, I have this gripe, how old am I? Your mind will take you back to the first time that you had that gripe. Then say to yourself, right, I have this issue, I'm 5 years old, what did I need? And then you go and you find out what it is that you needed and you heal it in that situation. Now, I have a process that I've actually put together that is actually a accumulation of all of the teachings that I've got, where I've put everything together that has worked from all the masters out there. And the reason why I did that is actually because I found that a lot of those processes that people have got out there, they work, but some of them are extremely time consuming. Some, my brain wanders, I'm not able to visualize. And so I've put together a process that is not only not requiring you to have assistance from somebody else, it's something you can mentally do, but it's not going to tax your brain mentally, and it is going to release stuff. And I call it the quantum release process. And I've literally refined it to such an art that I've helped people make breakthroughs within half an hour where they've been stuck in an area of their life that they haven't actually even managed to master. And I am putting that process together on my website. By the way, this is not a sales video. I'm just letting you know that I have got this process, but I'm just giving you the shortened version right now. Anyway, so moving on. So what you do is go and look at where that gripe came from, and then say, what do I need to heal it? And then look at where it all happened in all the other areas of your life, and see how you can close them off, literally like closing off a tap. And as you close off all of those areas, you start noticing that you're lighter. And a lot of the time you take it out on people around you, but it actually has nothing to do with them. Another way that your thoughts create your reality is that we create a story around what we experienced as a child, or what we experienced at the workplace, or something that happened. And that story actually becomes blown out of proportion compared to all the other events that have happened as well that were not negative. Maybe you felt done in by somebody, and everything else that they did, you were only looking for the trigger. You weren't looking for the good stuff. And in order to heal that, you want to balance the good stuff out with the bad stuff. So make a list of all the things that that other person did that is good, or that other people have done that are good, to counterbalance the bad that you've experienced here on this part of your life. So, and you keep doing that until you find that there is a balance, and until you feel it. You've got to feel it, and you will know when you feel it, when you actually get a tear in your eye. Another way that thoughts create your reality is in the people you hang around with, the amount of money you think you deserve, so where you choose to shop, who you hang out with, the country you live on. That all is based on thoughts that you have around where you are able to aspire to. There are a lot of people that say, I want to be rich and famous, but a lot of them never do. A lot of people say, I'm going to marry someone and live happily ever after, and they'll end up living with somebody who beats them up every day. And the reason is your thoughts are not congruent with your ideal of what is out there, and you actually need to analyze your thoughts. Now, when you look at the belief that's behind the thought, that is when you tackle the actual thought process, because the thoughts are just follow on from a belief system. So if I'm not making myself clear, let me give you an example. Let's say I am allergic to gluten, all right, which I am. So what happens is I probably developed, well, I know that I did, an allergy towards gluten when something happened in my life, in my childhood, that was causing me distress. And when I ate gluten, my body signified to me that it's the gluten that's causing the distress, and so we need to be on high alert to the gluten. Then what happens is you start getting a dialogue running in your mind about how the gluten is affecting your life, and if the gluten were to change, then you won't have this issue. The problem is you still will have the issue because you haven't dealt with the underlying emotion that's underneath it, and the thoughts are kind of acting as a mask for the emotional state that you have experienced as a child. And when you go into the underlying state and you find out what is it that was causing the distress, suddenly the allergy goes away. Now, a lot of the times people might say, well, I healed that allergy, I stopped taking this, and they will find as soon as they healed that allergy, it shifted in the body to another area. And you will see, for example, as Dr. Sano discusses in his Healing Back Pain book, the minute that you healed, maybe some people used to have ulcers. A lot of people had ulcers at a certain stage on the planet, and suddenly they're no longer having ulcers, and now it's become a bacterial overgrowth or IBS, because the symptoms have shifted into another area because the actual problem hasn't been dealt with originally. So here is actually what I want to discuss, is how do you heal your thoughts? Well, stop buying into the story. Instead of listening to your thoughts and say, you know what, it's true because I'm thinking this, take yourself out and watch yourself watching yourself. Imagine yourself seeing as an observer, as an outside person, looking through your eyes at the situation without getting personally involved. And that is what meditation is basically about. It's not buying into the thought. It's just noticing the thought and watching how that thought trails into something else and something else. And all that consciousness really is being aware. That's what conscious means, is being aware. And most awareness comes from being aware of what is going on in your mind, because it's your mind that dictates your feelings, and it dictates where your body's going to go, and it dictates where you're going to be. Now here is where divine inspiration comes in. When your mind is clear, you allow space for new ideas. And those new ideas are like drifting around in the cosmos, and you'll pick up on them. And if they have a vibrational frequency that matches where you're at, you will allow them to come into your space. And so if you want a high frequency thought, you need to get your body at a high frequency vibration, which is another story for another day. But when you raise your frequency, you will attract those new ideas. And it's possible, even when you're in a really negative state, to raise your frequency by listening to music, by having a memory of something that you enjoyed, by looking forward to something that you're going to do that you enjoy. And when you are in that space, that is where you attract divinity. That is where you attract things that are from a higher place, that is not from your mind. And you will know it because you feel clear. You feel divinely inspired. It doesn't come from the routine chatter that's in your brain. And then allowing that to anchor into your body by allowing yourself to get into that space regularly. And so please, my advice just to you today, if anyone were to take my advice, is don't listen to your thoughts. Just watch them and see what they're actually trying to tell you about the beliefs that you have. I hope this helps you. Have an awesome week.